In a time long past, in a bustling city called Ur of the Chaldees, a man named Abram lived. Today is October 8, 2025, but his story reaches us from thousands of years ago. Ur was a place of great temples and many gods. People there worshipped statues made of stone, made of wood. They believed these idols held power over their lives, over the sun, the moon, the harvest. Abram's own father, Terah, was a maker of these idols. He crafted them with his hands and sold them in the marketplace. This was the world Abram was born into, a world filled with countless deities and rituals. From a young age, something stirred in Abram's heart. He would look up at the vast night sky, at the countless stars, scattered like diamond dust. He would watch the sun rise, painting the world with light, and see it set, cloaking the land in shadow. He began to question the beliefs of his people. How could a statue, carved by his father's hands, be the creator of the heavens and the earth? How could something that could be broken or misplaced command the mighty rivers, the changing seasons? This was a dangerous line of thinking in a city built on these gods. It was a quiet rebellion that grew into a powerful conviction. Abram came to believe that there was only one true God, not a god of stone, but a single unseen power that created everything. Then that voice spoke directly to him. The one true God called out to Abram. He didn't appear in a grand temple or through a golden idol. The call was simple and profound. It was a command and a promise all in one. God told him,
"Leave your country, your people, your father's household, and go to the land I will show you."
It was a call to leave everything familiar behind, his home, his safety, his entire past. In exchange, God offered him a future beyond his wildest dreams. This was the moment everything changed. It was the beginning of a new story of faith. God's promise to Abram was immense, almost unbelievable. He told this man who was old and had no children that he would make him into a great nation. He promised that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky, the sand on the seashore. His name would be made great, and through him, all the peoples on earth would be blessed. For Abram and his wife Sarai, this must have sounded impossible. Yet Abram chose to believe. He set out from Ur, stepping out into the unknown with nothing but faith to guide him. Upon arriving in Canaan, God renewed his promise. He said to Abram, "To your offspring I will give this land." There, Abram built altars. These were not for idols but for the one invisible God who had guided him. Each altar was a marker of his faith, a physical declaration that this land was now tied to the divine promise he had received. As the years passed, Abram and Sarai remained childless. But God appeared to Abram again, changing his name to Abraham and Sarai's to Sarah. God sealed this promise with a covenant, a sacred agreement. He confirmed that Sarah herself would bear a son. They were no longer just Abram and Sarai from Ur, they were Abraham and Sarah. One of the most profound stories of Abraham is a test of his hospitality. One hot day at the entrance to his tent, he saw 3 strangers approaching. In the harsh desert culture, hospitality was a sacred duty, but Abraham went far beyond. He ran to meet them, bowed low, offered water, and prepared a lavish meal: tender calf, bread, curds. He stood by them under a tree while they ate, serving them like honored kings. These visitors were messengers from God. They told Abraham that by the next year, his wife Sarah would have a son. Sarah laughed. The visitor asked, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" A year later, just as they had said, Sarah gave birth to a son, and they named him Isaac, which means, he laughs. Years later, God called to him, "Take your son, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering." Abraham had proven his faith was absolute. He looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. He sacrificed the ram instead of his son. This event, known as the binding of Isaac, is a cornerstone story about faith, obedience, and the belief that God will always provide a way. Abraham's family story is central to his legacy. He had 2 famous sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael, firstborn, son of Hagar. Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian maidservant. Ishmael is honored as a prophet, ancestor of the Arab people, particularly in Islam. Isaac, born to Sarah, the long-awaited child of the promise. His birth was a miracle. Through Isaac's lineage, Jewish people. Christianity traces spiritual ancestry to Abraham via Isaac. Both sons were blessed by God, fathers of great nations, fulfilling the promise. Abraham, founding patriarch of 3 monotheistic religions. For Jews, Avraham Avinu, first to form a covenant with God, making the Jewish people the chosen people, Start of national and religious identity. For Christians, model of faith. Apostle Paul. Abraham as spiritual father to believers. Righteousness from faith, not works. The sacrifice of the ram, foreshadowing God providing Jesus. In Islam, Ibrahim, revered prophet, rejecting idols and submitting to Allah. Commemorated in Eid al-Adha, builder of the Kaaba in Mecca. For billions, Abraham is a shared ancestor of faith. His legacy is a living inspiration. Courage to question, to seek higher truth. Faith as an active journey, stepping into the unknown. Trusting a promise you cannot yet see. Even when things seem impossible, something greater is at work. Whether father, prophet, or model of faith, his story calls humanity to live with hope, courage, and trust. He is the man who, by answering a call, changed the course of history forever.